In 8.1, we are going to be starting the statistics portion of this class. So essentially, statistics, it has a lot of dealing with the collection, organization, summarization, presentation, and interpretation of data. There's different types of statistics, but essentially we are just trying to gather some information from our data set that we are going to be working with. One of the more basic concepts that we have within statistics is trying to find the middle of our data set. The fancy terms here is measures of central tendency, which is what the section is called, but we're just trying to find what numbers are in the middle of our data set to kind of get a representation of our data. And there are three different types of finding our measures of central tendency, the middle of our data set, which are probably terms that you have actually heard before. The first one being the mean, the most standard average. And then we have our median. And lastly, we also have the mode as our three different types of averages that we can calculate from our data set. The first one that we're going to start off with here is our mean. And this is called the arithmetic mean, or simply just the mean. And essentially all it is to just add up all of the numbers in the data set and divide them by the amount of numbers that we had added together. So an example, we have that Angela scores 17, 19, 13, 24, 14, 17, 18, and 17 points in the first 8 games of the basketball season. And we want to find her average, specifically the mean score per game. So all we have to do is add all of these numbers together in our data set. So 17 plus 19 plus 13, 24, 14, 17, 18, and 17. And then we need to divide this by the amount of numbers that we added together. Well, this was for her first 8 games, and we have 8 values here that we added together. So now we can add this up, and you should get 139 for that numerator. And we're then going to divide that by 8. And when we do that, we should get 17.375 for her mean score per game. Okay. The last bit here with the mean is a lot of people like to be able to condense the notation for calculating the mean, because saying that we're adding all the numbers together or showing your work for all of that can be a little tedious. So sometimes people like to make shorthand for that. So that's where this summation notation comes into play. And to start, it uses the Greek letter sigma, specifically the capital version of sigma. And for our summation notation, if we have something that looks like sigma x, x here representing our data set, this is telling us to add all of the numbers in the set x together. So then lastly, our formal definition of the mean using this summation notation is to sum all of the numbers and then divide by the amount of numbers we have. In this case, the amount of numbers we have, we're calling the letter n. So then our definition of the mean is sigma x telling us to add all the numbers, divided by n, the amount of numbers in that data set X.